Hi, Lynn Tucker Carnivore here, and I realized the other day I have been giving out a lot of my reference cards. So I thought, oh my goodness, there might be a lot of new people that are visiting my channel and seeing a lot of things that I'm now experimenting with, but that doesn't take me back to the beginning. So, for those of you who are new, hi and welcome, and thank you for trusting me with some information that I could give you. I'll try to be fun, and my very first video was actually very fun. That's called You Know You're a Carnivore When, because you'll notice that a lot of these traits will start happening to you, and it's kind of a fun way to know what to expect. So watch that one. Another funny one is malpractice, you make the call. And that takes you through some of my relationships with doctors, which is not good. Anyway, beyond that, another good one is Carnivore for Canines. If you've got a dog, you can kind of hear my history of how I found Carnivore for them before I found Carnivore for me. Why didn't I put two and two together? I don't know. But anyway, I also wanted to tell you what you might expect, some tips to start with. And that would be cravings. You might have some for the first couple of weeks, depending upon how sugar addicted you are. And you're going to have to be honest with yourself, because we're a lot more than we think we are. And a lot of people don't realize that sugar is sugar, but carbs are sugar, and fruit is sugar, and milk has sugar, and everything to your body is just sugar. I mean, you eat it, and the guys in the boiler room just yell to the other organs, "It's sugar, incoming." That's all they do, because it's all treated the same. They process everything the same. And when you get too much of it, then everybody starts clogging up, which is why you see when you're looking around at all the people nowadays, they're just thicker. They just are. And it's inflammation. And once you become a carnivore, you can kind of see it in other people's faces. Yeah, it's wild. I mean, you'll learn a lot. And cravings, again, are one thing that you need to deal with at the beginning. So what Jim and I did was make a lot of bacon ahead of time. What he does is cut the strips in half, puts them on a rack, and then we have a tray underneath it, and we have that lined with aluminum foil. Put it in the oven for 30 minutes at 350, 35, depending upon your oven and your Christmas desires. Do that. Then make some to eat, make some to save. What we did is put them in baggies in the refrigerator. So if you go on a long trip, if you go somewhere where you think you might be tempted, or you may not be able to find something to eat, it's fabulous for that. If somebody at work is going, "Oh, so-and-so's retiring, you have to have a piece of cake. It's their birthday." No, you have a couple pieces of those bacon pieces, and the cravings are gone. You can look at that cake a whole different way. And it's hard. I know that. It's a lot harder than we think, believe it. We think we can just do anything, but we have been trained by these people who put the cereals out there, who put the sugary things, all that granola that I used to love is all out there with sugar in it. And you just don't realize how attached you've become. And they have scientists that are on their payroll to make that commercial, remember, I bet you can't eat just one, to make it that a reality. Yes, they do. They hit the bliss points on our tastes so that our brain gets triggered with the sugar area, which incidentally is the same trigger point in your brain via an MRI that they've been doing. That is the same as the bliss point for methamphetamine. That's how addictive sugar is. I know, nobody knew that. Did they tell us that? Of course they're not going to tell us that. There's even a J.A. Ajama article about how scientists were paid off to say that sugar was fine. And it was the red meat and the butter and the eggs that were bad for us. Yeah, you can go look it up. Also, you really want to get mad? Google how Rockefeller created the business of modern medicine. I did a video on that too. It's called Sick Care, But it was the first time we had this particular audio equipment, and it just didn't work as good as I'd like it. But anyway, you could read the article too. That's online. And it just tells about how this whole thing evolved ever since 1913. Then there was Ansel Keys. Read up on him. Then there was the Mr. Kellogg, or Dr. Kellogg, I don't know, and all the cereals and why those started. And then you start thinking, here's a question. Do you know that babies are born into ketosis? I've asked two nurses, a doctor, and quite a few friends if they know that. None of us knew that. And did you know that ketosis is something that we strive for as a carnivore because our brains run better on ketones? Nobody told us that one either, did they? Yeah. So what do we do when we have babies? We immediately get them out of ketosis with baby formula, with baby food, and with cereal. And they're a lifelong carb addict. Seriously, it's how it happens. And we've got to stop it. All the news that's coming out about this now with Casey and Callie Means and their book. And then RFK Jr. talking about how we got to be better with our health, make America healthy again. It's true. I'm so delighted that they're, doing something, that they care about it. Even Trump was getting briefings from Casey and Callie Means and said, do you think RFK Jr. would take a phone call from me? Because I'd like to discuss a few things with him. I'm in on this too. I want our children healthy. He's a big children guy, as far as making people healthy. And he could use carnivore. Don't you think? I know. I've said it to a few people like Glenn Beck, Ted Cruz. Come on, guys, get on board. Lean, mean, fight machines, people. There are so many people when you go into the grocery store and you just see thickness everywhere. And you think, they did this to us because they want us sick or ill. And then if they're ill, they can sell us pills. And like Dr. Chafee says, if you take modern food or eat modern food, you take modern meds or modern drugs, right? You do. And then you have to take other drugs because those have side effects. And it's so on and so on. And all the doctors have been taught how to prescribe. They haven't been taught how to heal because nothing's working. With a lot of these people, you've got a whole pack full of medicine jars and nothing's changing. It's getting worse. So that's going to be a great thing. You're also going to find out that in addition to perhaps losing a lot of weight, you are going to lose inches. Some of us lose inches first. And that's because our bodies are so smart that they are getting rid of visceral fat around all of our organs, which is the bad fat. And they do that first because their primary job is to heal us. Everything in our body has been designed to do that if you put the proper fuel in. So the most nutritious thing you can eat is red meat and eggs and butter and bacon because it's got a good fat content. Now, for anybody that doesn't really get into eating animal fat, which a lot of us start off with, not really doing so well with. Guys seem to really love the ribeyes and, let's have some fat and I can eat all of it and it feels really great. And they love prime rib too with all the fat on it. Never been one of those people. But I do find it very easy to add butter. And that's all you'd have to do. I also find that hamburger, which is essentially ground steak, is very, very good comfort food. It really has taken the place of the mac and cheeses of the world. I know that sounds silly, but it's true. You'll find out if you take the chance for 30 days. What have you got to lose? Aren't you curious as to what it might do for you? And it becomes customized to you too, because it's the perfect elimination diet. That's not said enough. That once you do the 30, 60 would be even better. 90 would be fantastic to really know what foods you can handle and what foods you can't. Then you would just add things in one at a time that you really, really, really have to have. And I tried it with cheese, dark orange cheeses. Found out it makes my chin break out. I tried egg whites that I've eaten all my life because I never liked the taste of egg yolks. Histamine reaction. stomach didn't like it. Isn't that weird? I know. And sourdough bread, my super all-time favorite. I ate one piece after like 3 months on carnivore. Got a headache. So I knew it was from a good place too. It wasn't like I just went to the local grocery store and bought their sourdough. No, I ate it from a good place. And she made really authentic stuff too. Gosh, it smelled wonderful in there. But that's the other thing. All those things that you go, oh, I remember that was like the pizza, the this or that. It's like your body doesn't miss what it doesn't need. You think of them as fond memories, like an old romance that you're glad they're not in your life anymore, but you had a really great time. And you just remember the good things, you know what I mean? That's food's like that too. So don't think this is going to be hard. It's not. The first 2 weeks, it might be an adjustment based on how carb addicted you are. And wouldn't you like to know if sugar has taken over your head, taken over your body, taken over your stomach? Do you want somebody to be in charge of you, or do you want you to be in charge of you? I'm kind of in charge of me kind of a person. I like to be the captain of my own ship, as they say. And I think you do too. And when you start thinking clearer, because carnivore does that for your brain too. You're running on ketones. Your brain loves those. Your brain likes cholesterol. Your brain runs better on it. Matter of fact, your body makes cholesterol so that your brain has enough. Your brain gets first ops. They do. So you're going to be thinking clearer. You're going to be sleeping better, deeper. You're going to may even start having dreams again. I know. It's fun. It really is, to find out what it can possibly do for you. It made my eyesight better. Yeah, all of a sudden I was going, I see better without my glasses. And they had to change my prescription. Oh, I got the cataract story. When you get older, the sight comes closer to your eye and you feel as though you're seeing actually better, but you're not. You're just developing a cataract. So then he does the little, does this look better? Does that look better? Does this look better? Does that look better? And then at the end of it says, well, that's impressive. I said, what do you mean? He goes, you've had 5 improvements in this eye and 2 in this one. And he goes, I have to walk this prescription out to the front desk or she's going to think I made a mistake. And I said, well, Doc, you know diabetics have problems with their eyes. The inflammation, doctor. He's like, yeah. And he got it. And he said, I bet, that has merit because you just can't do what you did. And it was fun. I gave out cards to all the people in the office too. And then my doctor, okay, so I go in 3 months after I have been on carnivore and I get my blood work done. And while I'm there, the guy that's taking the blood is a little thicker than he needs to be. Let's just put that delicately. And I told him all about it. And he's like, I knew about keto and blah, blah, blah. And I go, carnivore is like the best step. It's like the A grade as opposed to the C grade. You know what I mean? And I said, can you do this? Can you do that? How you feel on soda? He's like, I'm not really that big on that. I'm like, do you love vegetables to the nth degree? No. Do you like butter, bacon, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs? Oh yeah, I could do that. Try it for 30 days. He did. Okay, so this is interesting. So I go back 11 months later. I mean, in my 11th month of being on carnivore, redo my blood work. He's lost 80 pounds. The guy hugs me. He's like, I've even told a couple of our patients, keep it on the QT. And they've been having a great time too. They feel better. They can be more mobile. He goes, I felt so sorry for this one person because they couldn't move. They couldn't move around the office. They were on one of those walker things, the motorized ones. And he goes, they're thriving. He goes, look at me. I've lost 80 pounds. And that was 8 months. So my nurse practitioner, very open-minded, really nice girl, very beautiful. And through losing a little more and a little more, she's even more beautiful. And it seems like nurse practitioners, if you're looking out there for someone to go to and like, well, I don't want to get into a bunch of, argument about what I do with my body. Nurse practitioners take what they've learned and they also listen. I don't know that doctors have the time to listen, And I also know that they've been taught to prescribe, not heal. And the nurses are kind of in between. So they're willing to listen and listen to new things. Let's face it, doctors don't have time to go and learn new things. If they do, they're rare and they're typically carnivore because that's how that works. So if you're going to your doctor too, oh, that's another tip I just thought of. Don't tell them that you're on carnivore. Tell them that you're on a lower carb diet. Try to get rid of the sugars and the seed oils, the ultra processed foods. They will find that you are being very mature in your food choices and a healthier outlook on what you should dine on. And as opposed to, you're not trying one of those, are you? Because they get all scared about carnivore, which is because they don't know. It's because they don't have time to learn. And if they did, they would start reading all the studies that prove that it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And even if you're going at least in this direction, it's a really good thing. Those seed oils are just the worst. And didn't we all think that Crisco was fine? Did you know that it was a German tank lubricant and sold to Procter & Gamble after World War II? Probably not. Did you know that children are born into ketosis? No. And then they are fed baby formula with sugar in it. And then they are fed baby food with sugar in it. And then they're fed cereals. And on, off into the little carb world they go. And did you know that there's sugar and carbs and fructose and lactose? It's all the same to the guys in your boiler room. They just yell out sugar to all the organs, and they all react to the protocol of you ingesting sugar. Yeah, and the fruit that we eat now, way sweeter than it ever used to be. Way fewer seeds than it ever used to have. Because let's face it, that's how they made baby fruit. More seeds. Because if one seed didn't work, the other ones would. So they made multiple seeds. So it was filled with seeds before. Try to find a watermelon with seeds anymore. See what we've done to fruit? So that we plant them in soils that are overused, only used for one kind of or maybe one or two kinds of product out there. And then we don't let the cows poop on the soil to make all the microbiomes and all the microorganisms happen and feed the soil again so that it's nutrient dense again. We eat soil that's filled with pesticides from all their spraying. And if you don't think that gets into the fruit, think again. And you can't help but do that. Isn't that what we were all taught when we were kids? That, from the ground, the water goes into the stem of the fruit or the stem of the plant or whatever we're growing. And it permeates throughout. This is all logical, you guys. Not to mention ancestral. Do you find any cave art of salads or, I don't know. I don't even think you see fruit in there. It's all guys killing animals for sustenance. And when they give you those survival TV shows, who are the first people that are down? It's the ones that are eating the seeds and the berries. The guys that are out trying to get fish or kill an animal, they're the ones that live. That's because that's how we were designed. I know. And I'm a lover of animals. I take spiders back outside. Little geckos are the cutest things in the world. I take them outside. I name my neighbors' cows and bull and their goats. But I sure appreciate the people that can humanely do that for us so that we can eat the proper human diet. So hopefully we learned a little here. And please, if nothing else, 30 days, just to see what it'll do for you. Aren't you curious? I would be, especially when I'm hearing about all the health benefits that people are getting. Things they never even knew were bad start healing. So wouldn't it be fun to find out, I wonder what's in me that needs healing? Well, your body's going to start with that visceral fat first, because that's the bad fat around your organs. And then if you start losing inches and not weight, that's because you're healing. So be patient and measure your waist and things like that, because that you can tell a lot from. And then You might go to the bathroom a lot because for every glucose molecule, there's 2 water molecules that escort it out. So for the first week or so, be around a bathroom every couple, 3 hours. And that's not hard to do. And other than that, you got your cravings, you got your bacon. You know how to get rid of soda. You know that you're supposed to eat until you're comfortably stuffed, and you drink when you're thirsty. Don't drink too much water because it dilutes your electrolytes. And if you need some electrolytes, you can tell that by, are you a little lightheaded? Are you having some headaches? Are you having some muscle cramps? All those things say electrolytes. And just go online and find the cleanest you can with the affordability that you need. I started with Pure Boost Citrus Sunrise because it was less expensive than LMNT. Element is really probably the best one on the market. And if you get it with the non-flavoring, that's really great. And most people are, for the first 3 months, they kind of need that extra help because you're healing, you're demanding a little more from your body in a different way because you're healing. So it might take a little more. And do that, and then I think you're set. I think you've got all the basic foundation. Also, if you'd like to hear this from a doctor's point of view, go to www.drbarry.com/guidebook. And that's his free guidebook that they may ask you your email, but they don't bug you or anything. It's just he wants to have that so that when he talks about the different things that are important, sometimes he puts out an email. It's not a big deal. I think I've gotten 3 from him in my whole almost year and a half. So don't worry about that. And it's all good information too, because he's a really, 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 really great guy. Anyway, I've talked enough, and go out and conquer. Be happy about the fact that you've made this choice, because you are about to have some amazing things happen to you. And I can't wait to hear about them. So tell me about it in the comments. Have a great day. See ya.